Hey champs, quick pause in the episode because I want to talk to the yoga studio owners listening right now. If you own a yoga studio and you know the business could be running better than it is, then this is for you. Maybe your classes are inconsistent. Maybe your intro offer is not turning enough new students into members. Maybe your team is lovely, but the student experience is not consistent. Or maybe you're still making way too many decisions alone and the studio depends way too much on you holding it all together. That sound familiar? That is exactly why my Grower Studio coaching package is built for. I work one-on-one with yoga studio owners to clean up the parts of the business that actually move things forward. Your schedule, your intro offer, your customer journey, your membership conversions, and training your teaching team, your marketing, and your retention. And here's why I'm talking about this right now. Over the next 90 days, I'm reshaping how my coaching packages will look moving forward. So if you've been thinking about working with me, this is your window to get into the current format where I have weekly coaching with weekly accountability and having me right there by your side as we make decisions and move the studio forward. So I'm opening up a small number of June strategy calls for yoga studio owners who want to begin in July. So if you're ready to stop guessing and get someone in the trenches with you and get your fall working for you, book your free strategy call at yogabizchamp.com/book. And we'll look at where your studio is now, where you want it to go, and whether Grower Studio package is right fit for you. So that's yogabizchamp.com/book. All right, champs, back to this episode. Hey champs, it's Michael J. And I want to tell you, against all the odds, I actually made it into the chair to record this episode today. Let me explain, because it has been a couple of days. So yesterday I was supposed to be recording day. I don't record on Wednesdays because that's gardener day at my building. So there's always leaf blowers everywhere, so no chance. So Thursday is always my day. I block the time, I get set up, I'm ready to go. And right on cue, a guy shows up on my condo floor playing the saxophone. Not badly, to be fair. It's pretty good, genuinely. But not exactly what you want bleeding through a podcast recording. So I postponed, had some lunch, came back, and then the tree trimmers arrived out front. Big trucks, big machines, the works. Podcast officially canceled for the day. Moved the whole thing to Friday. So this morning, Friday, recording day, take 2. I go to the gym, first like normal, and they've got this fancy new treadmill. I connect it to all my watch and the app and create the account. It's got about 900 features, one of which is apparently a parachute setting, and doing a leg work, and I'm doing some lunges on it and feeling good. And then it has it stop and has me with the video showing me to go into some high knee lifts to get my heart rate up. And then in this 59.5-year-old body, I hear a snap in my right knee and immediate pain. So instead of coming home to record, I went straight to urgent care, 5 hours waiting room, an x-ray. The good news is no structural damage. Not sure yet, but the other news is I hobbled out of there, drove myself home, and I am here recording this episode right now with my leg propped up like an auditioning for a war film. So if it sounds like I'm sitting a bit oddly today, that's why. But I made it here, saxophone free, no tremors, one dramatic treadmill injury later, and we are ready to go on this episode. And before I dive in, one quick note. To my dedicated followers and listeners, I heard some feedback on last week's Tech Stack episode, and fair play, it was a lot. I did forewarn you up front, but yeah, I fully geeked out on that one, tool after tool after tool, and a few of you gently let me know that it got a bit overwhelming. So noted and fair, but there's going to be definitely some more nerdy stuff coming up, but also we are coming up on the next 10 episodes until my 100th episode. So I've got some fun things planned, and I want to call some people back that have been on this podcast too. So, yeah, we've got some good stuff coming. So, all right. Anyway, let's actually get into it because this one really matters. And quick question for you before we get into it. What's your fall calendar like right now? Is it real, dated, ready to launch, or is it still living in a Google Doc with a bunch of maybes and a note that says, figure this out in August? So, no judgment. I've been that studio owner, I've had the doc. I work with studio owners that I see that from too. But here's the thing about running a community yoga studio: dreaming doesn't fill that mat. So deciding doesn't fill a mat, only doing fills a mat. And so today's episode, that's what it's all about. So, I always think that July, and I've been talking about this, that if July was your data month, so pulling your numbers, this is what I do with my clients and the group coaching, pulling the numbers, looking at what worked, and then taking that time to dream up the fall, dream up the fall programs. That's the real work and it matters. But then August is a different animal entirely. August, for me, and I'm talking about the North American model that I work into, just to be clear. I know like Australia, New Zealand have different rhythms, etc. But August, usually going towards September, is implementation month. So that's the month where the plan either becomes real or it quietly dies in a folder. You'll open again in October and wondering what happened to that idea. So today I'm just going to go through the full playbook. I really think August is pulling all that stuff together, and it's about promoting, right? Which is kind of my jam. That's what I love to work with my clients on. And so I'm going to be looking at website, socials, your signature course promotions, and a mix of digital and scrappy boots on the ground marketing that costs you effort and not money. You've heard me say before, effort or money, or a mixture of both. So hopefully by the end of this episode, you have a clear list of what to build this month so September actually lands the way you pictured it in July. Let's get into it. So let me lay out the shape of the season so you can see exactly where August sits. So like we just said, July was data and dreaming. You pulled your numbers, class capacity, your intro conversions, your retention. You looked at what worked this spring and summer and what didn't. And you also look back at last fall to see what worked and what didn't. And then you then dream up what this fall looks like. So maybe that's a new series. I'm a big fan of the Beginner 101. So beginner focused reset is always a great doorway in, or some kind of signature course relaunch. Whatever it is, going to make these decisions in July. If not, you still got time to do it right now. And then August is implementation. So this is kind of the bridge month that you cannot launch in September what you haven't built in August. So, full stop. So if your landing page doesn't exist yet, if your social plan is still a vibe instead of a calendar, if you haven't figured out how you're promoting your signature course, September is going to sneak up on you and you'll be scrambling instead of launching. So September is the payoff, right? Usually this is where your full programming lands, your studio launches go live. And if you did the August work properly, it doesn't feel chaotic. It feels like you've been building towards this whole time. Here's the honest bit, the part I'm not going to sugarcoat. Most studio owners have 4 to 5 weeks right now before full programming and studio launches hit. That's not a lot of runway, but it's enough if you actually use it instead of admiring it. So let's talk about what using it actually looks like. There are 4 things, kind of 4 pillars that need your attention this month. I'm going to walk through each one, tell you exactly what done looks like, and give you the one action that moves the needle most. The first one, your website landing page. Your website's not a brochure, it's a front door. And right now, if someone finds you through a Google search, a friend's recommendation, or a poster, you put it up around town, where do you land? And if the answer is my homepage or worse, an old page from last spring, that's a problem. You can fix this month. So here's what a proper fall landing page needs. One clear offer, not five. One page with one offer. What is the one thing you want someone to say yes to this fall? A beginner series, a signature course, an intro month or intro offer. Pick one, right? It needs a clear call to action, not learn more, something like book your first class or reserve your spot now, something that tells a person exactly what happens when they click. That call to action. So many studio owners don't do that last part. What do you want them to do? And your page needs to answer the obvious questions before they're asked. What do I wear? What do I bring? What if I've never done yoga before? Where do I park? Community studio win when people feel like the guesswork has always been done for them. And if it needs a real photo of your real space with real students, not a stock photo of someone in a pose you've never actually taught. People are looking for community, not a Cadillac, right? So, really make sure you do get some great photographs of your space and real classes and put them in there. People want to visualize themselves in there, right? And it needs to be a proper match, right? The customer experience has to be a match from what they see on the website to what they walk into, right? So the one action this month or this to do right now is build or rebuild one landing page this month and tie it to your signature fall offer with one clear call action. That's it. Not 5 pages, one good one. And you can really use AI to help you with this. I've been using Claude for my website to get it to analyze my website and help me fix a few things. So you can do that with ChatGPT. All right, there's lots of things out there that you can do to kind of help you build it's a sales landing page is what you want to do, right? So that's one page for one thing. And here's something real straight out of coaching call I had this week with a client of mine who runs a studio in Europe. Her ads were getting clicks. She was getting 250 visits to her website from one campaign, and almost nobody enrolled. 5 people from 250 visits. The problem wasn't the ad, it was what was happening after click. No teacher profiles, no student reviews, no FAQ answering, the obvious beginner questions. So people landed on the page, that looked fine, but gave them no reason to trust it, so they left. So we're fixing that now. Teacher bios, real reviews, a proper question and answer section, because credibility is what turns a click into booking, not the other way around. So if your landing page is pretty but thin on content for that particular thing that you need to deliver all the information on that page, that's probably costing you a little bit there. You can have to do detective work on some of these things. Like when you're running an ad, does the ad get clicks, right? If it's not, you change the ad, right? If you're getting really good clicks, but you're not getting sales from that, there's something wrong with the page, right? So you have to kind of look at those things when you're building these. Hey champs, quick word about today's sponsor, Offering Tree. I've been connected to them for a few years and they've grown into a full studio platform that I can truly stand behind. Their website builder is built in with Sprout AI. It'll build your website for you, run your studio reports and tell you what's working. It's really cool. So website, booking, payments, your on-demand library, and marketing are all under one roof at a price well below other studio software with as much power. And they actually support you. Real people, plus they have the OT co-op community of studio owners helping each other. And if you sign up right now with my link, you get 50% off your first 3 months or 15% off the first year. And as a bonus, you get a free one-on-one coaching call with me if you sign up on the studio plan. So go book a demo with my link in the show notes or tell them that Yoga Biz Champ sent you. Out. All right. The second pillar is social media. So want to be straight with you here. Posting randomly when you remember to isn't a strategy, it's a hobby and it shows, except for stories. I really like random stories there. What you need for August is a simple content calendar. It doesn't need to be fancy. 3 types of posts on repeat. I would say one, maybe behind the scenes, setting up the studio, prepping the fall, like a real look at the work. Showing behind the scenes builds people's trust and it's not polished. And you know that I'm saying marketing doesn't have to be polished now. You do not have to get overwhelmed with that glossy anything anymore. Real and raw is what's working. 2, the offer, your fall program, your signature course, stated plainly more than once. Most studio owners are afraid of repeating themselves. Don't be. Your students aren't seeing every post. Repetition isn't annoying to them. It's just the first time they've actually noticed. They're not online all the time, right? So putting the offer on multiple times, like you can just keep throwing it and test out different ways. Is it a reel that works? Is it a static post? Does the price work? Or is it the problem that you're solving? For example, a course for back care, right? So keep putting the offer out all through August into September. Don't take the pedal off. And then 3, win studios, a student story, a milestone, a moment that actually shows what it's like to be in that part of your studio. If you're going for the intro offer and something like that, right? And also the things to worth knowing if you are doing reels, which you should be learning how to do, is the first 3 seconds decide whether someone watches the rest. Not the caption, not the hashtags, the first 3 seconds. The swipe, the finger, that's what you're fighting against. That swipe up, 3 seconds, you're gone. So if you open with a slow zoom of an empty studio and calming music, you've lost most people before they even know what the video is about. Open with movement, maybe open with a question, open with something that makes someone stop scrolling. That's the difference between a reel that gets seen and one that doesn't. And I always recommend trying to get the word yoga and your location in really quickly, especially for a community studio, right? Hey, Vancouver, have you always wanted to try yoga, but been intimidated to do so? Right? Like that quick kind of Vancouver and yoga is in right there. I know a lot of my studio owners laugh because I like their ads starting with, hey, location. I really do. So here's an action. Build a simple 3-week content calendar this month, one behind the scenes post, one offer post, one win post, repeating and film it in batches so you're not doing this daily. I want to give you a real example of this going wrong because it's such a common trap. A client of mine was running Instagram ads for a beginner course, and the video showed advanced postures, hands-on adjustments. Actually, she's probably listening to this right now. She loves the podcast. But actually, one of the pictures had somebody laying their back over them in child's pose. Anyway, beautiful footage. Completely wrong audience. A true beginner watching that thinks that's not me and scrolls past it, right? That's like, oh, no, that's not me. Or somebody's not even into touch. You might have lost them there, right? So we had a great conversation about it. And basically, it was her team member who created these for her. And the fix was simple once we saw it. We replaced the footage with actual beginner-friendly movement, nothing advanced, nothing that makes someone feel like they don't belong yet. Same budget, completely different result because the imagery finally matched the person you're trying to reach, your ideal audience. So before you post anything this month, ask yourself honestly, if you're promoting a beginner, would a total beginner watching this feel invited in? Or whatever the course is or intro offer is, right? But would that audience feel invited in? Or would they feel like it's someone more advanced for them, right? That one check will save you more wasted content than almost anything. And also don't forget, everything you post has to have a call to action, right? Please don't forget that one. What is it you want them to do? Book now, buy now, click link in bio, send us a DM, comment such and such in the, like, what is it you want them to do? What's the action, the call to action? Don't be afraid to ask people what you want them to do. All right, signature course promotion. So, for me, this is with my studios, it's the beginner 101. And you've also heard my client Samantha from Yoga Strong on this. You've also heard, hopefully, previous episodes on the signature course. This is my jam. This is where I'm getting 60% conversions into the studio. This is where I'm really making a difference. And so, whatever your course, right, it's a signature course, like whatever it is. Mine used to be Beginner 101 and Yoga for Men. Those were my two that were my bread and butter, right? So this is your thing that you're actually known for, your flagship thing. And too many studio owners bury it instead of promoting it properly. And they are so nice. They are pay up front. They create community within the course. And when done right, and I've got some great stuff I work with my clients on this that really just helps convert towards the end, that people feel like that's my home, this is my studio. But the mistake I see constantly, studios treat their signature course like a secret. One announcement post and then silence. Meanwhile, the big group networks and the slick marketing programs you're competing with out there in the big gyms that are running full promotional pushes into September with real frequency and huge budgets. And even if what they're selling underneath doesn't have the substance yours does, you don't need their budget, but you do need their frequency. So promote your signature courses or your intro offers across every channel you have more than once in different formats. An email if you have a list, a social post, a mention at the front desk, a line on your landing page, a poster in the studio window, posters around town, same offer, different formats, repeated over the month. And tell people why it's different. Not just join this course, tell them what makes it yours. If it's built on you, like me owning 13 years running a studio, say that. If it's grounded in real experience instead of a generic template, say that. That's your differentiators, your secret sauce. Use it. And it's a thing the big networks and the big franchises can't copy because they just don't have it. Here's your action if you haven't done it. Map out every place your signature course offer will appear this month. So that's knowing where your ideal client's eyeballs are and make it show up at least 5 different spots before the launch, minimum. Here's a real thread from a client called recently. A studio owner had a beginner course that people finished and loved, and then they just quietly drifted off instead of continuing on as members. The course itself wasn't the problem. There was no clear next steps built into the promotion or the follow-up or into the course. So we simplified her automated follow-up emails to be clear and overwhelming with value, and weaving the next course or membership options into the conversations during the current one while people are still in it, not after they've already finished and moved on with their week, right? So if your signature course ends and then just stops with no obvious next steps offered while the enthusiasm is still there, you're leaving your best, warmest leads to wander off on their own. So you build the next steps into the promotion itself, baked into the course, and this is just guaranteed money making, I think, for a yoga studio. I have so much success here, and the great thing when you really learn how to do this once, like, that's repeatable. Quick word about my good friend Mitch McGinley from Boutique Fitness Brokers. He's been on the podcast multiple times. He's sold nearly 100 studios, totaling roughly $30 million. And here's the thing he always says: the biggest mistake owners make is building a studio they never planned to sell. And let's be honest, everybody exits eventually, whether you've planned for it or not. His new book, The Number Nobody Talks About, starts from the exit and works backwards. So you build a business buyers actually want right from day one. Your future self will thank you for it. Grab it on Amazon, search The Number Nobody Talks About by Mitch McGinley, or click the link in bio to Amazon US. Everything. All right, this is where community studios actually have the advantage. The big networks, the franchises, can't do relationship level, boots on the ground marketing at scale. You can. I did, because you're one person in one town who actually knows your neighbors. I'll give you the full breakdown of this in the next section because it really deserves real time. But the short version, this is the stuff that costs you effort and creativity, not money. And it works because it's real. And that is the scrappy and digital mix, like real campaigns. This is the part I really love talking about because this is where community yoga studios beat the big polished competition, not with budget, but with presence. I want you to think of August as running two tracks at once: digital online and scrappy on the boots, on the ground. They reinforce each other. Someone sees your post around town and then finds your Instagram and recognizes you, then lands on your website and books. That's the whole loop, right? So let me give you real specific examples, not vague ideas. On the scrappy side, posters around town are still one of the most underrated tools a community studio has. And here's the part people get wrong. They put up a generic yoga pose poster that could be for any studio in any city. Put your actual town's name on it, right? New to your town, come book your first class, right? An obvious, unmistakable yoga image with your town's name does something more than a stock photo never will. It tells a person this is theirs, not a franchise, right? Another one is partner with coffee shops. My client Peaceful Yoga, hey Marianne, did this, partners with the coffee shops next door for a simple, you could do a trade, flash your cup, get 10% off your first class. She did a QR code on the coffee sleeves, which went to her intro offer. You can leave a stack of intro passes at the health food shop, posters at health food stores, show up at farmers markets with a folded table, pop-up tent, a sign-up sheet. Like a good spin wheel at those things. Sponsor a kids' sport team jersey with your studio name on the back. That's months of free visibility for one small cost. Handwritten notes beat printed flyers every single time. If you drop postcards in mailboxes within a 10-block radius, a handwritten note on each one will outperform a professionally printed flyer because it feels like a person wrote it because a person did. Real examples on the poster front. A client of mine had a beginner course poster that was doing too much, 2 course levels crammed on it, too much text, busy design, but we stripped it right back, one image, one level, just those dates, times, registration done, right? Everything else moves to the landing page, right? You don't need to put everything on the poster. The landing page that we just talked about is where people actually have time to read about it. A poster's job is to stop someone for 2 seconds, make them curious, see the dates, and know if it works for them, not explain the entire program, right? So remember, a good QR code on that one. The QR code does not go to your front page of the website, though. It goes to what you're selling, right? So if we're talking, the ad does one thing, sends it to the landing page. The landing page does one thing, it sends it to the booking. Very simple. And on the press side, I had a client tell me about did puppy yoga fundraiser event. She runs with a local rescue. That's a genuine feel-good local story. And most studio owners sit on stories like that instead of picking up the phone or a quick photo and a short write-up and a press release sent to a local press contact. Costs you nothing and it gets you visibility you couldn't buy. Right. So if you're running anything with a community, a charity angle this fall, don't keep it quiet. Tell your local paper about it. I did that. I can't tell you, if you look up Michael Open Space Yoga and Hospice, you will see probably a lot of photos of me holding up giant checks. To be fair, I didn't do the press releases for those, though. The hospice did them. So, yeah, doing good work in the community, people really notice that. And, it's not a bad reputation to have. One more thing, and this one's simple, but it works. Another client and a team are building out their own scrappy list together right now. So, actual local spots, chiropractors, coffee shops, health food stores, places that ideal clients already walk into. I make them make a list, not guessing, not brainstorming alone in the back office, but also getting the whole team to help in the actual process as well. And also, when you get the team involved in it too, they'll come up with places that they're connected in. They could be like, oh, yeah, I teach at the local dance studio. The owner probably let me put that on the bulletin board, right? So that's exactly the exercise I want you doing with your list. Go do a list of scrappy things you can do. And I've said this one on repeat, I'll say it again. Crescent Yoga in Altadena, who were really affected by the fires, unfortunately, wonderful people. They get my eyeballs when I'm in LA and I go to the Rose Bowl. When they opened, I've used their example for so many years now, but they had a laminated poster pinned to a tree where I pull into park for a walk, a 5K walk at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles. Got right in front of my eyeballs, and it literally said, new student intro offer, QR code, something like that, right? But they got in front of my eyeballs. Anyway, on repeat, but worth repeating. On the digital side, ask happy students to leave a Google review on the spot right after class, phone already in hand. That's a 5-minute ask, and you can have a QR code to that too. But that's a 5-minute ask that builds long-term digital trust with zero cost, right? So every scrappy in-person touch point should point back to your one landing page. So just tying it together, the post has a QR code, the coffee shop has cards mentioning your place, the farmer's market table has a simple sign-up sheet that feeds your email list. So scrappy gets you seen and digital gets you booked. So your task this week, and I want you to actually do this one, not just nod along, is write a list of 30 scrappy places you get in front of eyeballs that don't cost you a dime. Local groups, community boards, a partnership with a business near you, a shout out in a neighbor's newsletter, a pop up at a local event, a stretch before a marathon. Not all 30 will be brilliant. That's fine. You're not looking for genius. You're looking for volume, because half of marketing is simply showing up in more places than the competition bothered to. And I will say on that effort, if you remember when we first opened a yoga studio, we went screaming and shouting around town about it. And then we kind of slack on that. We kind of can't ever slack, ever. We have to keep feeding the studio. And look, if you want a head start, instead of staring at a blank page, I actually just already built this out. 100 scrappy, zero cost marketing ideas for community yoga studios. Organized so you can just pull from it. It's free. I will link it in the show notes where you can grab it. So that's yogabizchamp.com is my website. But if you go to the show notes on this podcast episode, I will have a direct link to it. So don't overthink your list of 30. You can actually steal from mine and adjust it for your town. And hey, if something in this episode actually hits home for you, or you've got a scrappy tactic of your own that's worked in your own town, please tell me. There's a link right in the show notes to send me a message straight through the podcast player. I can't email you back from that. But there's no email, no DM. You just tap it in your own podcast and send me something that's worked. And I maybe do an episode where I'll read everyone out. Quick word on why all of this matters beyond just doing marketing. September is unforgiving if August wasn't done. If your landing page isn't built by the time your full programming launches, you're sending people to book with nowhere clean to land. If your social calendar isn't ready, you're scrambling to post instead of executing a plan you've already made. If your signature course hasn't been promoted enough by launch week, you're starting from zero instead of from momentum. The studios that have a strong September aren't the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who did the unglamorous work in August while it's still quiet enough to do properly. So think about it this way. Everything we've covered today, the landing page, the content calendar, the signature course push, the scrappy list of 30, all of it is really just you buying yourself a calm September instead of a chaotic one and feeling reactive and having to put a sale on because things haven't gone right. All right. All right, let's bring this home. 4 pillars for August, one landing page built around one clear offer, a simple 3-post content rhythm for social filmed in batches, your signature course showing up in at least 5 places before you launch, and your list of 30 scrappy free ways to get in front of real eyeballs in your town. And if you're listening, I know if you're listening to this, you might not be in August of 2026, right? But if you're at this, later, you can be thinking about this same process for, let's say, January of the next year or whatever year you're in, right? So looking ahead. So right now, if you are here in August of 2026, you've got 4 to 5 weeks, right? That's tight, but it's enough if you start this week instead of next. And one more thing before I let you go, I'm doing intakes right now for September coaching packages, and that's opened up the rest of my calendar for August. So space is limited, but the calendar is very open right now to grab spots to have a chat with me. I only work with a small number of studios at a time because I'm actually in the trenches with each one. I'm not running you through a generic program. If you've been thinking about getting hands-on support heading into fall, now's the time, not October, when the scramble's already started. So that's it for today. Go build yourself one landing page, go write your list of 30, and I will see you on the next episode.